The jungle was alive, with sound-strange birds calling, thick leaves rustling, and distant roars echoing through the thick air. On the hunting world of Kargas 7, this wild planet was not a place for rest. It was a playground for the rich, and cruel. High above the trees, a golden ship floated silently. Inside, a group of tall, armored aliens stood around a glowing table. Their skin was smooth and cold blue, their eyes sharp like blades. These were the Zarnak, one of the oldest species in the galaxy and famous for hunting intelligent beings. "For fun, we have a special catch today," one of them said, licking his lips with a split tongue. "Straight from the unknown sector, a new race called humans." The room filled with cruel laughter. "Are they fast?" Another asked. "Not fast," replied the hunter commander, "but smart. Still, not smart enough to escape us." In the lower deck of the ship, 5 humans sat quietly in metal cages. Their hands were tied behind their backs. Their faces were dirty and tired, but their eyes were calm. Too calm. The leader of the humans, a man named Cole, looked up at the nearest guard. He didn't speak. He just watched, silent, focused. The alien guard stepped back. "They don't even look scared," one hunter whispered. A loud voice echoed across the ship. "Begin the drop." The cages opened, and the humans fell through the air, landing softly in the thick jungle. The hunt had started. Hours passed. The hunters, armed with plasma rifles and armor, moved through the green jungle. They expected to find running humans, screaming, hiding, easy kills. But they found nothing. No screams, no footprints, not even heat signatures. "They're hiding underground," one hunter said. "Or maybe dead already." Another laughed. Suddenly, a loud snap echoed. Hunter's fell neck twisted at an impossible angle. His weapon was missing. What happened? The commander yelled. No signal, no visual. He just disappeared. A second scream rang out. Another hunter vanished into the trees, dragged by a rope trap. No trace. The commander felt something. Cold run down his spine. This wasn't normal. He looked at the tree beside him. Words had been carved into the bark. In perfect Zarnak language. "Now you are the prey." Panic spread. "They're attacking us? With what? They have no weapons," shouted one of the soldiers. "They don't need weapons," someone replied, eyes wide. That night, the hunters formed a tight camp in a clearing. Bright lights, scanners, sentry drones, they used every tool they had. But still, silence. No sleep came to them. Around midnight, a sentry drone buzzed, detecting movement. A shadow moved fast, too fast. A flash. A body hit the ground. Another hunter gone. The remaining Zarnak opened fire wildly into the jungle, but they hit only trees. Something had taken the hunter's rifle and disappeared. Inside the forest, Cole and the other humans moved like ghosts. They used mud to block the heat sensors. They used traps made from jungle vines and sharp rocks. Cole whispered to his team, "They hunt for fun. We hunt to survive." His second-in-command, a woman named Myra, nodded. "Let's show them what survival means." Back at the camp, the alien commander called for air support. "Evac team, bring the ship. Now." "Negative," came the reply. "Landing zone not secure." More screams. Only 3 hunters remained. The commander sat against a tree, shaking. His armor was scratched, his weapon low on charge. Across the clearing, Cole stepped out from the shadows unarmed. Calm, his eyes locked with the commander's. "You think we are prey?" Cole said softly. The commander raised his gun, hands trembling. But before he could shoot, the weapon was knocked from his grip by Myra, who appeared behind him like a ghost. Cole picked up the rifle, looked at it, then dropped it back to the ground. "We don't need this," he said. We have something else. The commander swallowed hard. What do you want? To send a message. Cole said dot as dawn broke. The jungle was quiet again. The golden ship came back to orbit, trying to locate the remaining hunters. Dot all it found was a single transmission, audio only. A calm human voice said, "You hunt us for sport. But on Earth, we became predators, long before we reached the stars." The transmission ended with static. The alien crew listened in silence. No one spoke. Dot from that moment on, the name human began to spread across the galaxy, dot not as prey, but as something far worse. Asterisk. The sun rose slowly over the jungle of Kargas 7. Red light filtered through thick trees and heavy mist. The alien hunting ship hovered high above, scanning the forest for signs of life. But the forest gave nothing back. Inside the control room of the ship, a Zarnak officer stared at a large screen filled with static. Drones had lost contact. Motion sensors showed no movement. All signals were fading like the jungle itself was swallowing their technology. The officer looked at the captain. "We're blind, sir." The captain clenched his fists. "Ben send a scout team. Find my men. I want the humans found dead or alive." A squad of 6 armored hunters landed near the jungle's edge. They carried advanced rifles, motion trackers, and heat vision helmets. These were elite Zarnak warriors, trained to track and kill across hundreds of worlds. They expected an easy search. Instead, they found something strange. Footprints, but only half of them. They stopped suddenly, like the humans vanished mid-step. Then, one soldier spotted it, a small wooden totem hanging from a branch. It looked human-made, rough, sharp edges, tied with vines. A bone carved with a symbol none of the aliens recognized. The squad leader scanned it with his visor. No tech. No poison, just a message. Burned into the side. "Still think we're prey?" One soldier laughed nervously. "Primitive trick. They're bluffing." He turned and was gone. Vanished into the tall grass without a sound. The others raised their rifles. "Report. Where did he go?" No answer. Just silence. Then a sharp sound. Thunk. A vine trap snapped, and a second soldier was yanked into the trees. Screams filled the air for a moment, then nothing. Now only 4 remained. "They're not running," the squad leader whispered. "They're watching." Miles deeper in the jungle, Cole and his team moved quietly, barefoot, blending into the terrain like shadows. They had studied the land quickly, learned how to move without sound, used every plant, every branch, every trick nature offered. But what made them deadly wasn't just the jungle. It was their minds. Cole whispered to Mira, "They still think we're playing defense. They don't realize the roles have changed." Myra smiled. "They will." Nearby, one of the Zarnik scouts knelt beside a puddle of water. He saw something strange, a reflection that didn't match his surroundings. Before he could react, a pair of hands grabbed his helmet and slammed it against the tree. He didn't even scream. Back at the ship, panic was building. The captain couldn't reach his men. A total of 11 hunters were missing, including the elite team. One technician ran to him. "Sir, we intercepted a message." "Play it," the audio played. A calm human voice. "We didn't ask for this hunt, but we accepted the rules, and we're good at learning fast." Then the sound of something falling, an alien helmet, crashing into leaves. Silence. On the forest floor. The squad leader and his last 2 soldiers were backing up toward a small hill. "They're everywhere." One of them shouted. "No." The leader said, "They're not. There's just 5 of them." 5? Yes, only 5. And they've already killed twice our number. The soldiers' hands began to shake. "What kind of monsters are they?" "They're humans," the squad leader said. and I think we've made a terrible mistake." Suddenly, they spotted movement. A human shape too fast to track ran between the trees. One soldier fired blindly. Another tossed a scanner pod, but the pod didn't light up. It exploded, instead turned into a trap. Razor spikes burst out, catching the last soldier in the leg. He fell, screaming. The squad leader tried to carry him, but the vines moved again, snapping, pulling the injured Zarnak away into darkness. Only one hunter remained now. He ran, heart pounding, visor fogging, leaves slapping his face, until he reached a small clearing, and there stood Cole. No weapon, no armor, just calm eyes. The Zarnak lifted his rifle, hands trembling. "Don't," Cole said. "You're not going to use it." The alien didn't move. "You know what's happening now," Cole continued. "You're not in control. You never were." The alien fell to his knees. "What do you want from us?" "We want you to understand," Cole said. "You came to hunt us for sport, but you didn't ask what we are." He pointed toward the jungle. "You call us prey, but in our world, we are the nightmare in the woods." Cole turned and vanished into the trees. The last hunter sat alone, breathing hard, staring at his rifle. Then he screamed, long and broken. On the ship above, the captain watched the forest silently. "Pull back," he said at last. "Call off the hunt." "But sir," I said, "pull back." In the background, the technician whispered, "We should have never brought them here." As the ship slowly rose away from the jungle, the last camera feed showed one final image burned into the soil. Earth remembers. Far away from Kargas 7, in a dark war chamber on the Zarnak homeworld, high-ranking officials stared at the hologram replay. Each clip showed the same thing. Elite Zarnak hunters falling fast, silent, helpless. Not one human scream. Not one plea. Only silence, followed by death. A scientist in a silver cloak spoke carefully. "We underestimated them. These humans are not weak. They are something else." The head counselor narrowed his eyes. "Then what are they?" The scientist looked down at the data. Natural-born apex predators. Back on Kargas 7, the jungle was changing. Not physically, but in feel. The Zarnak had always seen this planet as theirs. A place for games, hunts, victory. Now, it felt like it belonged to someone else. Someone watching from the trees. The remaining search team, led by a Zarnak officer named Velric, moved slowly through the dense brush. He had heard the coms go silent, watched drones vanish, smelled the smoke of his fallen comrades' burning gear, but he still believed it was a glitch. A mistake. "It's impossible," he muttered. 5 humans can't beat trained hunters." But even as he said the words, fear was growing inside him. Elsewhere in the forest, Cole sat on a thick root, sharpening a curved blade made from alien bone. Around him, Mira and the rest of his team worked quietly, building more traps, setting up false paths, hiding their scent with jungle mud. Cole looked up at the dense canopy. "They think with tech. We think with instinct," he said. Mira nodded. "That's why we're still alive." Cole's eyes darkened. "And why they won't be for long." Velric's team continued pushing forward. One soldier found footprints, barely visible. Another found blood. Alien blood. Then a nest of bones, not human bones, but the bodies of giant jungle beasts, each one twice the size of a Zarnak, killed cleanly, skulls crushed, necks twisted. Velric froze. "These beasts are apex predators here." "Who did this?" A low growl echoed. And then a voice. Human, but distorted through a speaker hidden in the trees. "You think you're hunters, but even your monsters fear us." The squad turned in every direction, but saw nothing. Then came the traps. A net of sharp vines fell, slicing armor. A. Pit opened beneath one soldier. Screams. Plasma blasts filled the air, but hit nothing. One by one, Velrek's team collapsed. Some were taken. Some simply disappeared. And then Velrek was alone. He stumbled through the underbrush, panting, heart pounding. His visor flickered. His gun battery was nearly empty. He fell to the ground mud on his face, cuts on his arms, breath heavy. Then, slowly, someone stepped out of the shadows. Cole, unarmed again, just watching. Velrek tried to aim his weapon, but his hand shook too much. Cole didn't speak for a long moment. Then he asked softly, "Why do you hunt us?" Velrek spat. "Because we can. Because we're better." Cole knelt beside him. His voice was cold. "No, you hunt because you're afraid of finding something stronger than you. And now you have." He leaned in close. "And the worst part? We didn't even need weapons to beat you." Velrek looked up at him, wide-eyed. "You're monsters." Cole shook his head. "No, we're survivors. You turned this into a game. We turned it into a war." Back in the skies above, the Zarnak captain was screaming into the communicator. "How many are left?" A nervous voice answered. "None." "Sir, the forest is silent. No life signs. Except for 5 human heat signatures." The captain turned pale. 5. Only 5. He slammed his fist on the control panel. "They're dismantling us. Strategically, like trained killers." An old advisor in the room finally spoke, his voice low with fear. "Perhaps they are." "On?" The jungle floor. Cole stood tall over Velrek, but he didn't kill him. He did something worse. He let him go. "Tell your people what you saw," he said. "Tell them we're not prey." Velrek stumbled away, broken and limping. Cole watched him disappear into the trees. Then turned to Myra. "Time to leave a message." She nodded, placing a beacon on the ground. The human team vanished once more into the shadows, leaving behind a blinking device that lit up with 3 words. "Earth is ready." Asterisk, the Zarnate orbit ship trembled as the captain paced the command deck. His elite unit-strained killers, armed with the best weapons in the galaxy, had gone silent. Not one had returned. Only one survivor, Velrek, was recovered. But he was not the same. He sat in the medical bay, shaking, whispering over and over, "They let me live. They let me live." The captain leaned close. "Who? The humans?" Velrek's voice cracked. "They watched us like we were animals. Then they hunted us like we were blind prey." The captain frowned. 5 humans can't do that." Velrek grabbed his arm, eyes wide. "Then tell me why none of us are left." Down below, the jungle of Kargas 7 was quiet. Too quiet. The ships above tried scanning for movement. Nothing. The human heat signatures had gone dark, camouflaged, hidden. But the bodies of dead Zarnik hunters began to appear, hung upside down from trees, marked with claw-like slashes. Each one had a message carved above it in the bark. "We learn fast." The entire hunt operation halted. Soldiers refused to go down. Engineers locked the shuttle bays. Pilots started, whispering about pulling back. Fear had spread, and it was growing. In the human camp, Cole stood over a drawn map scratched into the dirt. The team had taken key ground. They had learned Zarnak patrol patterns, hijacked drone tech, and were now setting the final stage. Mira brought a stolen Zarnak comm device. "They're listening." "We can speak to the whole ship." Cole smiled. "Good." He turned it on. Up in orbit, the comms console lit up. "Unknown signal," the technician said. "It's them." The captain's eyes narrowed. "Play it." The voice came through clear, calm, cold. "We were dragged here against our will. You called it a hunt. We called it survival." Cole's voice paused, then added, "You started this, but we're ending it." Static followed. The captain looked around. I want every weapon. Pointed at that jungle. Burn it. All of it. A wave of plasma bombardment fell from orbit. Flames tore through trees. Explosions shook the mountains. Smoke rose high into the sky. But when the fire cleared, there were no bodies. No humans. No signs of death. And came the sound, deep, sharp, terrifying. Human war horns. From the shadows, 5 figures appeared on the edge of the burning zone. Covered in soot, but unharmed. One of them held up a captured Zarnik helmet and crushed it in his bare hands. Above, every scanner beeped again. The humans were advancing. Not hiding, not running. On the ship, panic erupted. Sir, they're moving toward the shuttle base station. They're underground. How are they moving so fast? Sir, they've triggered our defense grid and turned it against us. The captain stared in disbelief. How are they doing this with no tech? Velrek, still in the med bay, whispered. Because they don't need our tools. They use us as their weapons. The jungle base exploded. The humans had found the ammo storage. A massive blast shook the ground, taking out dozens of Zarnak soldiers. Cole and his team stood at a cliff. Above, watching. Myra turned to him. They'll call reinforcements. Cole nodded. Then let them. Let the whole galaxy hear what happens when you hunt the wrong species. He pulled out a small recording device and looked into it. To those watching, you think we're just clever animals from a violent world. But you forgot something important. He looked at the burning valley. Predators evolve. Prey hides. And monsters? Monsters learn from you. The next day, a galactic emergency broadcast reached high councils across alien civilizations. The Zarnak had suffered their first major defeat in 1,000 years, to 5 humans. 10 warships were now en route to assist the Zarnak, but fear had already spread. Alien governments began asking dangerous questions. What is Earth? Who trained these humans? Are there more of them? One ambassador simply said, they don't fight like prey. They fight like ghosts born in fire. In a cold, dark room on Earth, a general sat watching the footage sent from Cole. He leaned forward and pressed a button. Activate Project Apex. His aide blinked. Are we really doing this, sir? The general stared at the screen, where Cole's voice played again and again. Earth remembers. Earth learns. Yes, the general said. The galaxy's watching. It's time they learned what we really are. The Zarnik council chambers were silent. For the first time in centuries, no one spoke. Not after the report from Karg is -7.5 humans. 1 jungle world. Over 70 elite hunters dead. The jungle base gone. And the humans? Still alive. The surviving captain's final transmission echoed in the chamber. We tried to hunt them, but they were already hunting us. No one laughed. These were not primitive creatures. These were the apex predators of Earth. And now the galaxy knew it. On Kargas 7, smoke still hung in the air like a warning. The human team moved quietly, heading toward the crashed escape shuttle they had left untouched until now. Mira opened the emergency comms panel and rewired the signal. Cole stood in front of it, holding a stolen alien helmet. He turned to his team. They wanted a message. Let's give them one. The others nodded. Cole began recording. In every corner of the galaxy spaceports. Stations, embassy hall screens flickered. Military hubs paused as signals were hijacked. Civilian networks buzzed with static. And then it began. A human face peered on every screen. Calm, dirty, cold eyes. It was Cole. We are humans from Earth. You took us. You hunted us. You thought it would be easy. Behind him, the jungle burned. You made a mistake. You taught us your methods. You gave us your tools. You showed us how you hunt. He leaned closer to the camera. And we became better at it than you. Suddenly, the screen changed. Short clips played. Zarnik hunters falling into traps, alien drones torn from the sky, a human dragging a captured soldier from the shadows. The message burned into trees. Now you are the prey. Then back to Cole. Earth does not forget. Earth learns. Earth adapts. We are not prey. We are the future's predators. The message lasted just 2 minutes, but within hours, it was seen on over 10,000 planets. Galactic forums exploded in panic. Videos of the hunt went viral. Alien analysts debated strategies, but none could explain how 5 humans had survived. Such odds and one. On the Zarnik homeworld, riots broke out. Families of the fallen demanded answers. Military leaders resigned. Some young hunters, inspired by the footage, began to question their entire culture. Meanwhile, whispers of a terrifying phrase spread among frightened colonies. Earth remembers. In a quiet observation room on a trade station, a sorry diplomat, a gentle insectoid race, watched the human broadcast in silence. Her assistant buzzed nervously. Should we ban human contact? The diplomat answered softly. No, we should. Send them food and a gift, and perhaps an apology. Back on Kargas 7, Cole sat beneath a giant tree as the night breeze passed overhead. Mira sat beside him. They heard us, she said. Cole nodded. They needed to. One of the younger team members, Jace, asked, Do you think they'll try again? Cole looked into the dark sky. They might. Or they'll send others. Myra smirked. And we'll teach them too. Suddenly, a small signal beeped. The humans gathered around. A reply message had arrived from Earth. Short and encrypted dot, it read, Well done. Reinforcements incoming. Prepare for pickup. They stared at each other. In silence, Jace whispered, Reinforcements? You think they're sending more of us? Cole smiled. No, they're sending worse. On Earth's moon, deep underground, a massive hangar door opened. A fleet of covert black ships powered up, each one holding specially trained operatives. No ranks, no names. Only one logo. A claw over a burning world. Project Apex was no longer. A secret. Earth was stepping into the galaxy's light. Not as prey, not as diplomats, but as a silent warning. In a hidden corner of the galaxy, a powerful alien warlord watched the message. He turned to his generals. Contact the council, he sighed. Tell them we will not hunt humans again. A young soldier frowned. Are we surrendering? The warlord answered, No, we are. Avoiding extinction. He shut off the screen. Back in the jungle, Cole stood at the cliff where it all began. He looked out over the burning trees and dead machines. He didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He just whispered, You should have left us alone. The wind carried his voice into the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Asterisk. The galactic balance was shifting. After the humans' message spread across 10,000 worlds, fear seeped into places it had never touched before. Races who once ruled through strength now sat in quiet meetings, afraid to say the name Earth out loud. In a Zarnak council hall, where once laughter filled the air during hunt reports, only whispers remained. They sent only 5. And they destroyed an entire hunting force. We saw the footage. We all saw it. The Grand Elder slammed his claw on the table. This is just fear speaking. They're still primitives. But no one answered. They had all seen the truth. On a wealthy pleasure world, a group of noble hunters canceled their game reservations. One of them, shaking, explained to his assistant, No more human hunts. Not ever again. If they find out. If they come for us. He didn't finish his sentence. He just ordered the shuttle to take him home. On the other side of the galaxy, in a cold metallic station orbiting a dead star. The Threx Empire, known for its brutal wars, held an emergency war council. "Beat the Zarnak," one general hissed. A younger officer replied, "They didn't just win. They made an example." "We've crushed planets," another growled. "How can 5 unarmed humans scare us?" The room fell quiet as the supreme strategist spoke. Because they didn't fight like soldiers, they fought like nightmares. In hidden corners of space, small species who once feared the big empires began to whisper new words. Maybe Earth will protect us. Maybe they are not monsters, but guardians. Maybe we are not alone anymore. Back on Earth, in a command center deep under the Arctic ice, General Rios reviewed the data from Karg. His -7. The screen showed Cole's last transmission again. His face was calm, unafraid. The general looked at his advisors. "They still don't understand," he said. "Then we explain?" one of them asked. General Rios shook his head. "No, we wait." In a neutral zone, the Galactic Trade Council tried to hold a peace session, but it fell apart at argument between Zarnak diplomats and a new human envoy escalated quickly. "You humans are unstable, dangerous." A Zarnak shouted. The human calmly placed the datapad on the table. It played silent video footage. Zarnak hunters dragging humans in cages. Then those same hunters hung upside down, dead. One by one, the room fell into silence. The humans stood up and simply said, "We are dangerous when you make us that way." Then he walked out. The alien worlds watched. Some feared, some prepared, others tried to copy in labs across distant empires. Scientists dissected everything they knew about humans' biology, history, psychology. One scientist from the Verne Collective spoke before their Senate. These beings were raised on a death world. Their nature was forged by fire, beasts, hunger, and war. Then we should destroy their world. One leader snapped. The scientist calmly answered, "That would require reaching Earth and surviving it." The room went silent. On Kargas 7, the jungle had begun to regrow. The fire was gone. The smoke had cleared, but the fear remained. Alien salvage teams arrived, looking for wreckage. They found helmets, burned weapons, and in the dirt, carved deeply into stone, "Earth adapts. Earth watches." One technician asked his commander, "Should we erase this message?" The commander stared at it. "No. Let them see it. Let them all see." Meanwhile, Cole and his team stood inside a stealth ship, finally off the planet. They had survived. They had sent a warning. And now they were going home. Jace sat near a window, staring at the stars. "They're scared of us now," he said softly. Mira answered, "Good. It's better than being hunted." Cole remained quiet, staring at a screen filled with alien news headlines. Every one of them said the same thing in different languages. "Earth's hunters unleashed. Zarnak defeated by deathworlders. 5 humans trigger galactic fear." He slowly smiled. "This wasn't just survival," he said. "This was an introduction." In the darkness beyond known space, far from any map, something ancient stirred. An old species hidden for millennia watched the footage too. "Awakened," one voice said. "Shall we interfere?" Another asked. The eldest among them replied, "No, let the galaxy deal with what it created." Then they vanished from view. Back on Earth, Project Apex expanded. New training centers, new recruits, new ships, but above all, a new rule. We don't start wars, but if hunted, we end them. The stars above Earth were no longer quiet. Satellites carried new messages. Ships came and went, some human, some alien. But now, everyone came carefully. No empire spoke to Earth without permission. No fleet entered. human space without clearance. Because the galaxy had learned something important. Earth had rules now, and rule number 1 was simple: never hunt humans. At the United Earth Diplomatic Hall, a meeting was taking place between human leaders and ambassadors from 10 alien species. The room was silent as one. Human officials stood to speak. She wore no armor, no medals, only a simple gray uniform with a single symbol on her chest, 3 claw marks across a globe. The attack on our people, she said, was not the first, but it was the last without consequence. She paused, looking around the room. From this day forward, Earth recognizes one law above all in the stars. She pressed a button. The screen behind her lit up with one sentence: hunt humans and be hunted. At first, the alien ambassadors did not reply. Then a small voice, an insectoid diplomat from a peaceful race, spoke. We agree. Others followed, one by one, each species some proud, some afraid, signed a new pact. The Earth Accord, that it was the first time in galactic history that fear created peace. Far away, on a desert moon orbiting a red giant, a private hunting club went silent forever. Their trophies, bones from captured beings, were burned. Their ships, grounded. Their leaders disappeared. A small note was left on their main door. Written in perfect alien script. We don't forget. On a science vessel orbiting Cargus 7, researchers observed the jungle from above. It's healing fast, one said. Too fast, another whispered. Because the jungle wasn't just regrowing. It was changing. Tracks no longer belonged to native beasts. They belonged to humans. The jungle had learned from them. And now moved like them, fought like them, and waited. Back on Earth, Cole stood alone in a dark training room beneath the Arctic. Base. Walls around him displayed holograms of alien warlords, ship designs, and hunting routes. He studied them silently. Behind him, General Rios entered. You've changed the galaxy, the general said. Cole didn't turn. We just showed them who we really are. The general nodded. And now they listen. They should have listened before the blood, Cole replied. The general walked beside him. We're building new units, more Apex teams. You'll lead them. Cole's eyes didn't move from the screen. Only if they understand the mission. And what is the mission? Rios asked. Cole's voice was firm. To make sure no one ever forgets what Earth is. At the Galactic Forum, where all major species met once a cycle, a new seat was placed in the center. It was simple, black metal. No ornaments, and it had no nameplate, just 3 red lines burned across the front. It was Earth's seat, and though it sat empty that day, no one dared sit near it. Even empires that once ruled the stars with firepower and fear now redrew their borders. No-go zones were created near human space. New scout ships were ordered not to scan. Earth systems. Trade was approved, but only under new terms written by humans. On a mining planet in the outer ring, a young alien child asked her father a question. Papa, is Earth real? The father looked into the night sky and whispered. Yes. Are they monsters? She asked. He shook his head slowly. No, my child, they are. What happens when prey learns to hunt back? Somewhere in deep space, an old warlord watched Earth's message again. He was silent for a long time. Then he turned off the screen. And spoke just 3 words. Leave them alone. Back at the Arctic base, Cole walked outside for the first time. In months, snowflakes landed on his skin. The wind was sharp, cold, but he smiled, because he knew something the galaxy had just begun to understand. Earth didn't need to conquer, it only needed to survive. And when survival was threatened, humanity remembered who it really was. Not prey, not victims, but the deadliest predators the galaxy had ever seen. Asterisk.